Hey, what's going on, my nerds and collectors alike? We are back at it again with Mafex number 91 Black Panther, and this is the reissued version, because as a going trend on this channel, I seem to miss first releases. But, getting right into them here. So you can see Black Panther in his packaging. You've got his newly repainted head sculpt there. You got the figure. You got some of his accessories here, so you've got a couple of sets of his hands and his spear. You've got his second Panther head there, which we'll get into a little bit more on the packaging here. So we've got some promo images of Black Panther with that second Panther head, so you can see that's his eye slits open. And you've got the Wakandan arms crossed kind of pose there. And it says Black Panther, Metacom Mafex number 91. On the bottom of the box, you got your legalese, your barcodes, your warnings. You got your official hologram sticker saying that this is not a knockoff. On the side of the box here, you got Black Panther standing nice and tall. Got the Black Panther logo for the movie. This is actually the Avengers Infinity War one, it looks like, even though this is from the movie of Black Panther. Mafex number 91 again. On the back, Mafex number 91 again, you got some more images here. So this is a reversed shot from the front of the box, a little bit bigger. So that's pose you can do with him with his eye slits open. You've got all of his accessories laid out here, so his sets of hands, spear, and everything. You've got another picture of him with the unmasked head sculpt on there. Shows the 3 different heads. On the other side, you actually have a different pose of Black Panther, hunched down and crawling on this side, with the Avengers logo, and it has the Black Panther movie title there. On the top of the box, it's just Black Panther again. Box is a little bit generic, but not bad. All it is the packaging around your plastic, so let's go ahead and crack him open and see what Black Panther's about. So getting him out of the box here, I do want to point out that in the back of the box, when you take the figure out, you get a nice Black Panther symbol there, which if you've seen the custom thrones from creators on Instagram, a lot of people actually incorporate that emblem, which is a very nice touch. Getting a better look at him in his tray here, you can see his other set of hands that was hiding down there in the window. You get a more clear picture of the figure. His foot looks a little bent there, so hopefully that's nothing. You got your stand taped to the back as always. So yeah, everything's kind of laid out nicely. We'll get more into it. Okay, so getting T'Challa out of the package here. I'm just going to say it real quick. Mafex knocked it out of the park again. Another great figure. So let's go ahead and get into some details here. I do have his alternate Panther head on. We'll go ahead and look at this first. As you can see, you can actually see his eyes up in there, which is very, very cool. I've not actually seen a head look this good from any other company. I think SH Figuarts might have done one, but it didn't look quite this good. So that's very, very nice. Mafex is stepping it up, definitely. As you can also see here, he's got some tribal detail etched into his suit here. There's actually quite a bit of paint on here, and you wouldn't really think that for a Black Panther figure. The figure's mostly a black color, but there is variations in the blacks, and there is actually paint. So we've got, let's get it to focus here, we've got more tribal paints up in there, picked out in glossy black. And everywhere you see the gloss black is actually where the vibranium would illuminate purple when he's absorbing kinetic energy. So I would expect to see another version of this guy with the purple energy at some point, maybe an endgame version. But you can see that he's got the pattern pretty much all over his suit running through there. And that's all picked out in gloss paint. You can see the nice texture of the vibranium weave. You got his necklace, which the suit comes out of, picked out very nicely, and you've got the nice divot up at the top there because of the necklace chain. On the back, details exactly the same, not skimping anywhere. On the back of the head, there's a little bit of vibranium reinforcement picked out in silver. So that's very nice. You got a little pieces of vibranium sticking out here and there, so there's some silver on the back right there on each side. You got a little bit of silver on the shoulders on each side. His gauntlets have the vibranium reinforcement around them, and on his forearm right there. His legs, same detail. His toes are picked out in a nice silver. So all in all, it's looking pretty good. You can even see on his thighs right there, there's a little bit of silver, which you wouldn't really notice until you start looking at it. I actually didn't notice this on the suit until I started looking at this guy, so that's pretty cool. A lot of detail put into this. As you can see, there's already one of his accessories here. We'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, detail-wise, this guy looks fantastic. I know a lot of people complained about his linky arms, but the actor Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, that dude was awesome. It's really sad to see him gone, but he actually had longer arms like that, which I think is very fitting for a cat-like character like this, to have longer limbs. So it makes sense to me, and it looks good. I'm not set up by it at all, so yeah. Let's go ahead and get into articulation. So, with this head sculpt on, T'Challa can look almost all the way up. He can't quite bury his chin because of an interesting piece of technology in the head here at the bottom of the neck that actually fills in the gap, so that kind of gets caught in there a little bit. But he can look down fairly well. It's not like he can't look down. He can't bury his chin, but he's getting there. He's getting there. He's got some nice tilt on each side. So you still get some expression out of him. His arms are on the same kind of Mafex style of articulation, so his arm itself, without the assistance of the ball joint inside, can go up to 90. And then with the ball joint inside of the butterfly there, he can get up just a little bit more. And as I said, he's got butterfly joints, so forward goes probably about 45 degrees. Not quite as much as Spider-Man, but still pretty good, pretty good. He gets back farther, so that's always good. He's got a bicep swivel. His arms obviously can go 360. He's got a nice double jointed elbow, which bends in nice and far. I will go ahead and say with that Mafex style of having the sculpt over the exoskeleton of, well, I guess endoskeleton of articulation system, I did have the left arm pop off on me, but I just pulled the exoskeleton, like, sculpted down a little bit, pushed it right back up in there. I haven't had a problem since. So, that's good. His wrists have the good old Mafex up and down, and then it swivels on the inside of that, so if you want those to go in and out, you can have them do that. As you can hear, it's kind of squeaky, but doesn't seem to be causing any problems. This means the joint's tight. Might have to loosen that a little bit, but it's not an issue. We'll go ahead and get his arms out of the way here. For his diaphragm, we've got two dumbbell joints in the diaphragm, so one at the top, one at the bottom, as Mafex usually does. So the top one goes forward that far, and then with the assistance of the bottom, he can bend 90. And then he can bend back more about probably 70 degrees. And of course he gets side to side and all that good craziness. So he can pretty much do whatever you need him to do up in the torso there. For his legs, he does have the drop down hips. So those drop down and he can kick up ever so slightly past 90 degrees. And with that dropped down, he can kick back. Not too far. But it's not like he really needs it. Getting that back up in there. Let's see. So he can kick out that far. And if anyone's curious for high kicks, he can still kick decently high. So it does what he needs to there. He does have the upper thigh swivel. And then that is also on a ball joint. So you can fidget around, you know, close up any gaps you need to and still have him move like he needs to. His knees are on a double joint. And bing! Kicks his own ass. That's for you, whoosh. I would not suggest trying to do that often because I don't want anyone to kind of overstretch their knee and break their figure. That wouldn't be very fun. His ankles, on the same style joint that his wrists are, just a little bit bigger. So they go up that far, back about that far. They're on a swivel. You can twist them so they can go side to side. And his toes are actually bendable as well, which bend quite a bit further than the Mafex Spider-Man I looked at, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, this guy can move pretty much any and every way you need him to. I'm liking it. Feels good, the quality feels nice. I don't feel like I'm going to break the figure in any area. It does squeak a little bit, so the joints might be a little tight, but I haven't had any fear of actually having any breakage. And like I said, the only issue I've had is this arm popping off there, but that's pretty standard for Mafex. You just pull that down a little bit, push it on there, make sure it's nice and tight on there, and I haven't had any problems since. So, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the figure. I did get mine from Big Bad Toy Store, as I usually do. T'Challa said it was nap time there. I paid $90, so plus tax and shipping, it was about $110. From the date of order, I did order on a Thursday, so I ordered on Wednesday, and I got it today, which is a Saturday. So did not take long at all to ship. It shipped via FedEx, so Big Bad's usually really good about getting their stuff out to you quick, especially once you get this. He is still in stock, and this is still the reissue version, so you're getting the superior version of the Black Panther figure. He's been in stock for about a month now, so don't be shy, guys. If you're looking for this guy, Big Bad has him in stock. Head on over there, fast and easy shipping. Their customer support's always been great whenever I have had an issue, so I mean, I definitely trust them. So getting into accessories, as I said, this is the extra Panther head. And so head pops off nice and easy. We'll put the new one on here, which is the one that came in the box, and that's the one with his eyes completely covered over, so he's all masked up. And that has the same nice detail that the other one had, so you can see all the nice tribal markings and the vibranium outline over top of the black. Looks all nice and good. I actually like this better than the Marvel Legends head sculpt. It looks kind of meaner, which I like on my Black Panther. As for heads, he does have one other head sculpt, which is the whole reason behind the reissue. So for the unmasked head, it's easier to pull that off. And then I like to just kind of pull from the back and lift. So that whole neck assembly will come out. And then you just kind of slot that in there, push that down. And there's the T'Challa head, which honestly looks really good. I know a lot of people had issues with the skin tone of the previous version and the paint not matching up as well. This time around, I will say the skin tone does still look a little light. He is definitely lighter than he actually is in film or he was in real life, but all in all, this looks fantastic. I think this is actually probably the best Chadwick Boseman head sculpt we've had from any company. That looks really good to me. And I did just watch the Black Panther movie with my family, so he's pretty fresh in my mind, and that just looks really good. Definitely think Mafex knocked it out of the park on their second time around. He does have a little bit of shading at the top of his head there, but it doesn't look unnatural or anything this time. The yellow pigmentation is definitely out of the face sculpt this time, so he doesn't look yellow like he did before. His articulation pretty much stays the exact same. He can actually look up a little bit further this time around. Burying the head, still about the same. So he looks down about the same. But skin tone, even the neck matches the skin tone pretty well. The detail's all there. His hair looks really good. They've even got some highlights in his beard from where it was kind of patchy a little bit. So that just looks really, really good. In my opinion, it is a excellent tribute to have for Chadwick Boseman. One of his other accessories here, before we get into his hands, is his vibranium spear that he had for the challenge in the movie, where people could challenge his right to the throne. Now, this spear, I'll go ahead and take the hand off for this. This spear is very tight to get into his hand. It does separate at the blade with a little D-style peg, so that way it doesn't turn in there. But it is very, very tight to get into his hand, so I'll probably just leave this in his hand, because I don't want to have paint rub in there or have something break trying to take that in or put it in, take it out, and all that. It's just not worth risking the breakage. So we'll just go ahead and leave that in there. As for other hands, he does have a set of more relaxed clawed hands. So these are more of his kind of walking around, kind of chilling hands. They're not really doing anything, they're just relaxed at his side. He also has a set of more open palm kind of flat hands. So these are more for low poses where you could get a 4-point stance or have him crawling around low down on the ground. Maybe even get some handstands with this guy. Definitely would be good for that. He comes with a standard pair of fists, which look pretty good. They've still got their detail on there, and you've got his claw there picked out. So, always good. These are a little bit looser because these are the ones that actually came on him in the package, so they're not as loose as they'll fall off, but they're a little bit easier to get on and off of his hands there. And then he comes with a pair of more swiping clawed hands, so these are his attacking hands, which you can see his claws nice and picked out there. Each one is picked out in silver. Sculpt looks pretty good. Do be careful, because these fingers are a little bit sharp, but the hands are rubbery. I just don't want anybody poking themselves when they're trying to push that on there. I suggest kind of grabbing the palm when you're putting it on and pushing like that. Keeps you from poking yourself. And then he also comes with a set of gripping hands, as you saw with the spear. So there's one gripping hand, and you do have his claws picked out in paint still. So, no skimping on the detail. And he has another one of those in case you wanted it in the left hand, so you've got your options. And we'll go ahead and we will get this guy into, oh, see, there you go. So, that's what I was talking about. That's actually the second time this has happened. Nothing to worry about. All you need to do when this happens, so you can see it's actually on a articulation skeleton in there. So all you gotta do, you just slide that down a little bit, make sure his biceps up, push it back on nice and tight, goes back on, everything is fine. That is not a break, that is not a major issue, that is for your articulation if you're getting a little rough with him, that is so the figure does not break. Everything there is fine. I know a lot of people worry about that when they fix figures. It is just something to keep you from actually breaking the figure in case you get a little too rough. Which I'd rather have it pop off on a ball joint like that than actually have it snap off and need to get it replaced. With the first set of comparisons here, we will compare the Marvel Legends Black Panther head sculpts here. So this is the smiling Chadwick Boseman head next to the Mafex one, which I think the Mafex is definitely better, although it could have used a darker complexion just a little bit. So there's that. And then you've got the more serious-faced Chadwick Boseman head sculpt from Marvel Legends next to that, which I think this used to be the best Chadwick Boseman head that we had gotten until Mafex came around and fixed up theirs. So that's definitely my favorite now. We'll go ahead and get this guy lined up with some comparisons. So for people curious, there is T'Challa next to the two Marvel Legends offerings from the Okoye Build-A-Figure wave. He's a little bit shorter, but actually not as short as I thought he was going to be. I honestly think you could fudge this guy in pretty well. And his proportions definitely, for me at least, are looking a lot better. Now don't get me wrong, these figures, when they came out, especially this one, was a fantastic offering. That one doesn't like to stand up, I'm sorry. Was a fantastic offering, and it still is a really good figure for that lower price range, but now that scalpers have kind of gotten a hold of him, he's a little harder to get. Prices are going up. You're going to see this guy for $50, $60 on the secondary market here. This guy, in my opinion, is definitely a better option. If you're going to start spending prices upwards of $60 to $70, I definitely think this guy is the better way to go. But they stand pretty much toe-to-toe, head-to-head there. He's about the same size, so that's always good to see. You can fit him in a Marvel Legends collection. Then we'll go ahead and get him with the villain of his movie here. So here's Eric Killmonger, who's standing a little bit taller than he is. On camera, it actually looks like he's a good bit shorter, but in person, Eric's only about a half a head taller, which I'm pretty sure Michael B. Jordan is taller than Chadwick Boseman in real life anyway, so makes perfect sense. Still looks pretty good compared to the Golden Jaguar Eric Killmonger there. So that's looking pretty good. Go ahead and get those guys out of here. We'll go ahead and get him here next to his sister Shuri, which her feet are tiny, so she's hard to stand. There we go. Get him next to Shuri and Okoye. He does stand taller than Okoye, and Shuri only looks taller because of her big bun up there with her bunch of braids, so that looks perfectly fine. I think they look pretty good together. Shuri looks kind of skinny, but those look pretty good. Keeping the trend of characters in Dora Milaje uniform here, we've got Oye and Nakia, which he and Nakia are standing about the same height. Oye is a little bit shorter than he is. If you actually manage to get quite a few of those Dora Milaje, he definitely would look really good having them flank around him. If you even had like a little nice throne setup, have the Dora kind of be on his flanks, they definitely look good together. Here he is next to the initial antagonist, and then his soon-to-be friend, M'Baku, which, M'Baku, being a Build-A-Figure and a larger character in the movie, definitely has a good height advantage on him, so that honestly looks really good, which you would expect from the MCU's equivalent of Man-Ape. So, definitely looking good in size there. And just because, we're going to have him with Power and Glory Captain America and the Mark 85 Iron Man. Now, Tony being in the suit, obviously, is a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier. Him and Cap are actually standing about the same height. Again, on camera, he looks a little bit smaller, but not bad at all. He definitely looks bulky, but still agile, so I think he looks really good compared to Captain America, since they're both kind of superhuman, as opposed to superpowered. They've kind of both been enhanced by a different serum. Obviously, he has the heart-shaped herb, and Captain America has the super soldier serum, so they've both been enhanced, and they look good together. And just because, as a final comparison here, we've got him next to the Mafex Spider-Man and the SH Figuarts Endgame Thanos, which is kind of out of view. There we go. They definitely look really good together. Spider-Man is about a head shorter, but again, Spider-Man in the MCU is only a kid, and Tom Holland is kind of short in real life, so we'll let it slide. They definitely look really good together. And even compared to the SH Figuarts, especially if you fudge your Mafex and SH Figure Arts figures into your Marvel Legends display like I do, these guys all look really good together. I'm surprised how well these lines that can actually blend, especially if you kind of, use some camera tricks or posing tricks. They definitely all look really good together if you're picking and choosing like I am. Looks really good. And so for final thoughts here, I definitely think that the Mafex Black Panther is an excellent purchase. Of course, price could be a little bit lower, as with all imports. The price is kind of a tough pill to swallow, but honestly, for what you get, the articulation system and the quality, especially that Mafex has been putting out in recent years, it's no doubt this is definitely worth the purchase, in my opinion. Couple of things before I sign off here. I do want to say that this channel and all of the content on it is not for anyone under the ages of 13 years old. Standard YouTube jazz. And I do want to say, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. You were an excellent casting for the Black Panther. You will be missed. Stay safe, everybody. Hope you're all doing good.